Hi Pinkies, this is A from Double Pinky Team. In today's video we are going to talk about a series I need to confess my love for, I Told Sunset About You. I've always thought that no BL could be better than SOTUS, and I've always compared every BL to it, a series that, especially in the second season, has shown that it is possible to describe realistically a homosexual relationship without inserting unnecessary stereotypes based on betrayal to revive the plot. Nevertheless, I Told Sunset About You exceeded any expectations I had on a BL. I can firmly say that its directing, script, acting, music make it the best BL I've ever seen and possibly the best series of 2020. Watching I Told Sunset About You is such a strong sensory experience that makes all the other series suddenly predictable and full of stereotypes. Let's start with the plot for those who haven't seen the series yet. I will quote it from my drama list to be as objective as possible. Tae and Oh-hae were best friends until a boyhood line of reasoning turned them into rivals. Years later, as they're preparing for university admissions, both pursuing interests in the field of communication arts, the two meet in a Chinese language class. Their reunion awakens complicated and unstable feelings. The cinematography is one of the best I've ever seen in a Thai drama. The color palette and the imaginative references are powerful and each scene is so detailed and with a strong emotional impact. The emotions spring not only from the dialogues but also from the poetic representations of feelings through images of nature or scenes made of long stares, gestures with multiple interpretations and sensual theatrical choreographies. Music embraces the plot and joins the protagonists in their difficult path of maturation. The main characters are teenagers everyone can identify with, indecisive, curious, full of expectations for the future and strenuously looking for their own self, hurting themselves and others. The development of their relationships is realistic, sweet and tormented at the same time. An honorable mention goes to the female character of Tarn, who is finally not represented as an obstacle but as a courageous, sincere woman forced to mature very quickly. My personal opinion about I Told Sunset About You is more than positive and I really recommend watching this series if you haven't yet and if you're looking for a BL that excites you at every single scene. For those who have already finished watching it, let's start with the spoiler part of this review. I am a devoted fan of director P. Boss since Project S, Side by Side, where he masterfully described autism as I've never seen elsewhere, and in this work as well he gives an imaginative directing masterpiece never experienced in a Thai TV series before. The colors give a soft vintage effect to the drama and the shots are so meticulously directed that the viewer has the impression of being in an impressionist painting. The soundtrack moves to tears and even without understanding the lyrics Bilkin's singing skills are no joke. I was surprised to discover his musical talent while watching the documentary. I've rarely heard someone singing live with such a sweet and delicate tone and with almost a perfect voice intonation. PP Crit sings the Chinese version of Skyline and gives it a nostalgic note that I really appreciate. But let's talk about the episodes. The first two introduce the plot and lead to the climax of the third and fourth episodes, which are the apotheosis of directorial perfection. The third episode is so perfect that it feels like a separate and unique movie. It's a gorgeous combination of sensuality, small gestures, winking glances, all surrounded by poetic and visual references to the love that is blossoming between the two protagonists and which culminates in the last minutes where we see a sensual and a lit erotic scene. Among all the evocative scenes and images from the episode, the last shot is my favorite one and shows Oh-hae staring sadly at Tae, who just left the room after having an intimate moment together. Me and my romantic cast saw Dido in Oh-hae's eyes, and as she was seduced and abandoned by Aeneas, so was Oh-hae. Okay, I'll admit that classical studies are bad for your health, guys. Episode 4 is really poetic as well, but it shows more Tae's inner conflict and fears. There are a few scenes where Tae's at ease at the beach, and the most iconic, beautiful, sensual and poetic scene of the entire series is the sea one. Tae, out of sight and free from any judgment, can finally show what he really feels for the other boy without any worries. They are alone and the sea is a reassuring and silent presence. From that scene on, Tae's agony do nothing but increase and the fear of being different devours him until the end of the fifth and last episode, where in the final dialogues between the two lovers, the title of the series becomes clear. Let me know in the comments which are your favorite scenes. When I started writing this review, it was so hard to choose which ones to talk about in this video. Speaking of characters, I rarely found a complex protagonist like Tae, who's a teenager full of contradictions and strong passions. He's intelligent, arrogant, stubborn, competitive, decisive and tenacious. He manages to love passionately, but he has a deep fear of judgment and he doesn't know who he really is. He often fails to understand his feelings, he can't accept himself, and while he knows what he wants, he hurts himself and those he loves most. He is not an easy character to love, but his complexity makes him realistic. It's heartbreaking to see how Tae is afraid of facing his own feelings and at the same time he's scared of losing Oh-hae. At the end of the 4th episode he feels he lost everything: Oh-hae, his place at university, a friend like Tarn and his mother's respect, and he cries to the point of having a panic attack. That scene still breaks my heart when I think about it. On the other hand, Oh-hae knows what he wants, he is not afraid of accepting himself, he is sincere and honest with his emotions. This is what makes him aware of his feelings for Tae from the beginning. He's surprised but not scared at all, and indeed, he is frank to the point of putting Tae in the position of facing his own feelings like Oh-hae himself had already done. Oh-hae faces Tae's rejection, the inability to understand what makes him less attractive than a woman, and at the same time the impossibility of lying to himself by pretending to be something he's not. The scene where he wears a bra gives an enormous emotional impact. Another character aware of her feelings is Tarn, as mentioned before, one of the few female characters who's not demonized for plot reasons. She is a passionate and stubborn girl, who shows great empathy and great maturity once confronted with the truth. She suffers from Tae's rejection but still manages to be supportive. I personally think Tarn is the bravest character in the series, and I suffered a lot for her in episode 4 when Tae paints the flower in red. I found myself hoping that Tae would choose red since it represented Oh-hae, but also feeling sad about the violet, a symbol of Tarn herself, abandoned in the pencil case. Like Tarn, Boss also proves to be an understanding friend and a silent presence. He finds the courage to tell Oh-hae how he feels in front of the whole class, he helps him through a difficult time, and he sacrifices his feelings for the happiness of the person he loves. Boss best boy. Last but not least, my sweet brother of the year, Hoon. He is a role model and a loving sibling, more like a parent figure for a teenager unable to face his fears like Tae. He takes care of his brother without asking questions, and he is always ready to comfort him with an affectionate gesture. When Tae finally tells him about his feelings for Oh-hae, Hoon reassures him. In episode 4, when he goes to pick up his brother with his scooter and let him cry without saying a word, he moved me to tears. The performances of the actors are more than convincing. The chemistry between Bilkin and Pipikrit really leave you breathless, and the romantic scenes between them are extremely sensual, even though they never have a hot scene. My emotional involvement was so strong that I have repeatedly felt shy, like I was finding myself watching an intimate moment between two lovers. At the same time, Bilkin and Smile's chemistry is excellent and I love their kissing scene. It was enjoyable and poetic as well. Kunpal's sweetness is convincing, and when he decides to pull back and leave Oh-hae, my heart broke into million pieces. The two actors who played the children versions of Tae and Oh-hae, Nobel and Pupa, are also incredible. Despite their very young age, they were able to introduce the viewer into the drama in the best possible way. I Told Sunset About You is an absolute masterpiece and really changed my perspective about Thai drama, despite the fact that at first I wasn't interested in the series. I didn't watch the trailer when it was released because I thought it was simply another BL about teenagers and their love story full of cliches. What do you think about it? Did you like it? Let me know in the comments section below. Please consider subscribing to this channel and follow my Instagram account. I'll leave the details in the description box, and see you in the next video. Bye Pinkies.